less you cling to things, the more powerful you become. Imagine a life where you're unbothered by insults, calm in chaos, and unaffected by the highs and lows of fortune. That's not weakness. That's unshakable inner strength. The Stoics believe that true power doesn't come from control over others, but from control over yourself. And the gateway to that control? Detachment. In this video, we're going deep into the Stoic philosophy that shows how letting go is the ultimate flex in life. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to help our journey grow and reach more minds like yours. Stick around till the end. This might just be the shift in mindset you've been needing. Number 1. Understanding detachment. The Stoics didn't view detachment as apathy or indifference. To them, it meant freedom for being ruled by your emotions, possessions, and even your relationships. Epictetus once said, "It isn't events themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Detachment allows us to separate our reactions from reality. It's about not giving power to things we can't control. Think about it. You can't control if someone betrays you, if you lose money, or if the world turns upside down. But you can control how you respond. That's where power lies. Detachment is the mental muscle that stops external chaos from becoming internal collapse. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about not being enslaved by them. Picture a person who's calm during a breakup, focused after losing a job, or unshaken by praise or criticism. That person has mastered detachment. Their identity isn't tied to temporary things, not validation, not failure, not even success. They stand in their own light, regardless of what the world throws at them. This is what Marcus Aurelius practiced daily. As an emperor, he had everything, yet he lived simply, reminded himself of death, and often wrote about the fleeting nature of all things. Detachment helped him stay grounded in a world built to distract and corrupt. Number 2, emotional control. When you're emotionally reactive, you're easy to manipulate. People can push your buttons and control your actions. But when you practice detachment, you become emotionally sovereign. You no longer hand your peace over to anyone or anything. You pause, reflect, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. Seneca once warned, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Most of our emotional suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our over-attachment to outcomes. We fear loss, disappointment, and rejection because we believe they define us. Detachment breaks that illusion. Take the example of relationships. If your happiness is entirely dependent on another person's validation or presence, you've given away your power. Detachment doesn't mean you don't love. It means you love without becoming a prisoner of that love. You can care deeply, yet still walk away if it compromises your peace or values. When you detach from the need to be liked, to be right, or to win, your decisions become cleaner and wiser. You operate from principle, not pressure. You no longer chase validation or revenge. That's a level of strength that most people never reach. And it's why Stoics were so feared and respected. Number 3, freedom from materialism. Stoicism teaches that it's not wrong to have wealth or possessions. The problem begins when they start having you. Detachment from material things is not about poverty. It's about mastery. When your identity is tied to stuff, you become a slave to it, fearful of losing it, constantly needing more to feel enough. Seneca, one of the wealthiest Stoics, often practiced living like a poor man. He slept on the floor, wore cheap clothes, and ate basic food just to remind himself, "If this is the worst, I can handle it." This mental exercise made him fearless. He wasn't attached to his wealth, so even if it disappeared, he wouldn't crumble. Look at today's world. People define their worth by cars, clothes, or social status. But that attachment breeds anxiety. What if you lose it? What if someone else has more? Detachment means you can still enjoy success, but you don't depend on it for your sense of self. You control your possessions. They don't control you. Freedom comes when you can walk away from the deal, decline the invitation, or live below your means. Not because you have to, but because you can. That's power. True success is when you're so grounded that no external gain or loss can shake your inner balance. That's the Stoic standard. Number 4, detachment in decision-making. When your mind is cluttered with attachments to people, outcomes, opinions, it clouds your judgment. Stoic detachment helps clear that fog. Decisions made from a detached state are rooted in reason, not emotion. You see the situation as it is, not as you wish it were. Let's say you're in a business negotiation. If you're too attached to winning the deal, you might ignore red flags or settle for less. But if you're detached, if your peace isn't tied to the outcome, you can walk away with clarity and dignity. That level of objectivity is rare, and that's why it's powerful. Detachment also sharpens your intuition. You're no longer swayed by fear or desperation. You make moves from a place of calm and confidence. Whether it's choosing a career, ending a toxic friendship, or investing in yourself, your decisions come from truth, not pressure. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This mindset helped him lead with wisdom instead of ego. In a world full of noise, detachment lets you move like water, flexible, calm, and clear. And that clarity makes you unstoppable. Number 5, detachment as path to inner peace and resilience. At its core, detachment isn't just about strength, it's about peace. A detached mind is a calm mind. You don't get pulled into every argument, every disappointment, every victory. You remain centered. And from that center comes resilience, the ability to bounce back, to keep going, to endure without breaking. Life will test you. People will leave. Plans will fail. But if you're detached, you won't lose yourself. You realize that nothing outside you is ever guaranteed. And yet, that's okay. Because your stability doesn't come from external things. It comes from within. Think about Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist. Even in a concentration camp, stripped of everything, he wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing. The last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." That's detachment in its highest form. So when life gets messy, when the world feels heavy, remember this: your power is in how lightly you hold things. The Stoics weren't trying to escape life. They were trying to live it fully, without being destroyed by it. And detachment was their secret weapon. Number 6, detachment from the past. One of the most overlooked attachments we carry is to our past. The mistakes, the pain, the guilt, and even the glory. Stoicism teaches us that clinging to what was is a recipe for suffering. You cannot walk forward while staring backward. Detachment from the past isn't denial, it's liberation. It's accepting what happened and refusing to be chained to it. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That includes what has already happened. Many people live with regret, as if they can change history through suffering. But the Stoic doesn't indulge in guilt or nostalgia. They reflect, learn, and let go, because the past no longer belongs to them. Think of someone who was once betrayed or humiliated and now uses that as a reason to stay guarded, bitter, or fearful. Their attachment to a past event is robbing them of their future. Detachment is about reclaiming that power. It's saying, yes, that happened, but it no longer controls me. Even victories can become a trap if you over-identify with them. If your identity is built on who you were at your best moment, you may fear ever falling short again. A Stoic remains grounded in the present. They're not interested in replaying the past like a broken record. They want to live, not relive. Number 7, detachment in love. Love is powerful, but attachment can turn love into obsession, control, or dependency. The Stoics approach to love with open hearts and clear minds. To love deeply, you must love freely. And that means not tying your entire self-worth to another human being. Detachment protects both your peace and the integrity of the love you offer. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the impermanence of life, including those we hold closest. He knew that to truly love someone, you must be ready to lose them, because everything in life is temporary. That may sound cold, but it's actually freeing. You love more purely when you don't grasp or cling. Imagine someone who constantly fears their partner leaving, who needs constant reassurance. That's not love. That's insecurity disguised as affection. A Stoic love says, I choose you, but I don't need to control you. My happiness is not your burden to carry. That's a love built on strength, not survival. Detachment in love also means accepting people as they are, not as we wish them to be. You don't try to fix or possess them. You appreciate their presence without needing to guarantee their permanence. And in that space, something beautiful happens. Love becomes unconditional, not transactional. Number 8, detachment from outcomes. One of the biggest causes of stress, disappointment, and burnout is our obsession with results. We're taught to chase goals and expect outcomes. But Stoicism flips that mindset. Focus only on what you can control, your effort, your values, your process. The outcome? That's not up to you. And that's okay. Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. That's process over outcome. Whether you succeed or fail is often influenced by factors outside your control. Timing, luck, other people's decisions. But your character and discipline, that's always in your hands. Think about someone applying for a job, working on a startup, or training for a competition. If they're too attached to winning, they may panic, compare, or compromise their principles. But if they're detached from the result and rooted in the work, they show up better. Ironically, this detachment increases the chance of success. When you detach from outcomes, you free yourself from emotional turbulence. You become more resilient to failure, less inflated by success, and more consistent in your actions. And in a world that obsesses over results, this mindset is a superpower. You're not gambling on luck. You're investing in excellence. Number 9, detachment in conflict. We often think of power as dominance, raising your voice, proving your point, getting the last word. But the Stoic sees restraint as a deeper strength. When you're detached from your ego, you don't need to win every argument. You don't react to every insult. You don't engage just because someone invites you into chaos. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. That's the Stoic blueprint. When someone disrespects you, your reaction reveals more about you than them. Detachment gives you the power to pause, observe, and act from reason, not reflex. You don't need to match their fire. You stay cool. Picture a heated disagreement. One person is shouting, the other remains composed. Who really has the power? The one who isn't controlled by anger. That's what detachment offers in conflict, clarity. You don't fight every battle. You choose the ones worth fighting. And even then, you fight with principle, not pride. This doesn't mean being passive. It means being intentional. You don't let people walk all over you, but you also don't let your ego lead the charge. You speak with precision, act with honor, and walk away when needed. Because real strength doesn't need to be loud. It needs to be solid. Number 10, detachment from identity. Society feeds us labels: student, leader, success, failure, introvert, extrovert, victim, survivor. The Stoic question is, who are you without those labels? Detachment from identity doesn't mean you don't know yourself. It means you're not limited by who the world tells you to be. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you are a soul carrying a corpse. In other words, you're more than your job, your role, or your reputation. When you over-identify with a title, you become trapped by it. If you lose the title, you lose your sense of self. Detachment frees you from that cage. Let's say you've always been known as the smart one or the funny one. If you're attached to that identity, you might feel pressure to always perform or impress. But if you detach from the label, you allow yourself to evolve, to be vulnerable, to change. You become a full human being, not a character. This is the core of Stoic freedom. You're not your story. You're the awareness behind it. When you drop the labels, you drop the fear of losing them. And that's when real growth begins, not for becoming something new, but from realizing you were never just one thing to begin with. Detachment is not about caring less, it's about caring wiser. When you master it, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that traps most people. You gain clarity, control, peace, and real power, the kind that no one can take away. If this message hit home, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to support our journey. We're building something meaningful here, and your presence matters. Until next time, stay grounded, stay powerful, and keep living with intention.